Right. Welcome once again to Modern Day Woman. This is Teresa Hawley-Howard, your host. We are always so excited to bring you exciting, new, innovative women to just uplift you, empower you, give you more knowledge, and always inspire you. So we're glad that we're on iTunes now. Y'all remember to go and rate the show, review us, leave us a message, contact us, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Welcome to the show, Claudia. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Claudia Ibarra, and I'm a certified angel card reader, a certified fairyologist, realm reader by Doreen Virtue, and I am a host and founder of our new network called International Angels Network, and my show is on Sundays at 3 p.m. Eastern. I'm also a flower therapy healer certified by Robert Reeves, and also a archangel angelic life coach and indigo card reader by Charles Virtue. So, and I'm also an ordained minister by the Universal Life Church and American Marriage Ministries. I also provide healing attunements, which include blockages, 12 DNA activation, Ascended Masters, and the 4 Archangel attunements. And I'm also working on other certifications, so I've been very busy. And also, I also help people and awaken them with talk about organic food and eating clean and eating non-GMO foods and educate people about that as well. So yeah.
That is so interesting. I know that one of the things, I have lupus, and so the eating clean and the eating certain foods, I've found that it really affects the way my body reacts if I eat something I'm not supposed to, or I eat something that's too processed. And I think a lot of people don't realize the effect that has on their bodies.
Exactly, and especially the products and chemicals and stuff that you use, including your cleaning products at home, also the toothpaste that you use that goes directly into your bloodstream, and gels and all kinds of products, So, in a woman a day, you tend to put lots of chemicals in your body. That's about, and the average person is exposed to over 120 highly toxic ingredients every day before 9 a.m. And ingredients are absorbing your skin and continuing your bloodstream and accumulating to your organs. So that's why a lot of people are having problems with cancer and other health problems as well, because of the products that we use.
I think that's so true. And I think, we think that, we use this to clean. It doesn't really affect us. It doesn't affect our children. But we need to be really aware of what we're bringing into our households, what we're exposing our bodies to, even to the lotions and the creams and things like that we put on. I mean, you read the ingredients, and if you can't pronounce them, you probably shouldn't be putting them in your body or on your skin.
Pretty much. Exactly with food, Yeah.
I think that's I think that's so true. We don't think about it. We go to the fast food, and when you read the back, and the whole ingredients list is all chemicals. Those are not good for us.
Yeah, there's a lot of chemicals in our products that the FDA pretty much approved, and it's not even how can I say really look into. There's well-known name brand products, and I'm noticing that a lot of since we're being more aware of the stuff that we're eating, we're putting on our skin and the household cleaners, that companies are actually listening and actually changing the way they're doing their products, like the BPA liners and the cans. There's just a lot of switching to organic products. So in a way, by showing an example and giving aware and opening and awakening people regarding to the products and everything that we eat and that we use, that it's awakening the companies, to use more of the organic products and that sort. So
I think
I'm
that's so
really
true.
happy that they're actually listening. So a lot of people are switching over, and I know that I'm really happy that Aldi. I don't know if you ever heard of them, but
Yes.
they are switching to all organic little by little. Here in the Bronx, where I live, it's not near my neighborhood, but they already switched to all organic products, pretty much wholesale. So they're like a Costco, but a wholesale organic store. It's really interesting, and I'm so glad that the owner of Aldi has decided to do this and show an example to other companies that it can happen, and it doesn't have to be expensive.
I think that, so we have an Aldi here where I live in Tyler, and it is always busy. I love that store. But I think that when big business listens to consumers and what they're wanting, and when we're having an outcry, it all starts with us deciding what goes into our body, with us deciding who we shop with, where we put our money, because it's very important that we make informed decisions on the food and the things that we're coming in contact with. Because if you look back in history, when we were eating more, straight from the farmer or straight from our own gardens and things, there was less illness, less of the things that we're dealing with now. And a lot of that's because we're exposed to the chemicals from day one. I know my mother told me she hates the wet wipes my grandchildren use, because she was like, just get a washcloth, use water, because there's so many chemicals in those things that from day one, from newborns, that we're exposing our children to, that they weren't exposed to before.
Yeah, even before newborns, when a woman has pregnant with their baby, all those creams and the stuff that she eat, you already put it in the womb in the baby, so the baby basically comes out with chemicals in their body already when they're born.
Yes, and I think
that's a lot of people don't really think about.
They just they use the newest and the latest, and they think, oh well, that must be right. But you really need to do your research into what you're putting into your body and what you're choosing for your families.
Exactly. Even people are now using vinegar, the old stuff, the old vinegar.
Yeah.
To the stuff don't smell very good, but you can always use, there's other ways that you use. Baking soda is another way, but there's different things that you can use if you can't buy stuff, organically, but you can make your own products at home, like what our ancestors used to, and our great grandparents. They used to, use stuff like that.
My grandmother used to clean with vinegar and lemon juice. That's how she cleaned our kitchen cabinets. She'd make it up. She'd put it in the water. She'd boil the water so the water would be distilled. Then she'd add the vinegar and she'd add the lemon juice, and then she would pour it up into her bottles for cleaning. And so, and it did the job, and it was a lot safer than the chemicals that we're putting on it now. I mean, you wipe down your counter with a chemical, and then you lay food on it, or your child puts their food on the tray that you're wiping down with that chemical, and they are getting chemical residue on that food and ingesting it.
Exactly. And like I said, even women that are pregnant, or thinking about having a baby, all that stuff is being absorbed by your baby. So I've noticed that, I know a lot of women out there suffer from not able to have children because of all these hormone receptors that are blocking women and men to have children, to produce babies. And one of it is, and the major is the food that we eat. I know that soy, if you have a hormone imbalance, eating soy is the worst thing you want to eat. And corn, of course. And those are the number one high GMO foods that you don't want to eat. And causing like other health problems, where young little girls are start developing very quickly. because of the milk they drink. I was one of those statistics in the 90s where being in first grade, I was wearing an 8-cup bra. I mean, my mom never thought that her own daughter would be wearing a bra in first grade, or starting her, women's cycle at age 8. That's a serious thing. And the doctors didn't see that at that time, but that was because of the steroids that were in the milk,
Mm-hmm.
So really, really, that's why you see a lot of these girls kind of overdeveloped in these, and the boys too, they're overdeveloped at a younger age. Because I don't remember ever having, school kids, be so developed than how they are now. It's kind of scary, but.
And we don't think about the things that, we are putting in our bodies. We just, stop at McDonald's and get them a Happy Meal and all. And there are chemicals in all of that fast food. There are chemicals that are really changing the lifestyle of our children because it's affecting their development. It's affecting how they grow. It's affecting how young that they are now reaching maturity, which is, for me, to see 10 and 12-year-old girls. I remember I was 16 actually, but I remember they didn't look like that when I was in school. But you look at them now, mm-hmm. and they're 10, 12 years old, and they look like grown women. And a lot of it is mm-hmm. the lifestyle choices that we're making for our children. And like you said, even before they're born, the things that we're taking into our body, if you're trying to get pregnant or you're expecting, everything that you come in contact is going to affect that unborn child. Everything you smell, every chemical you clean your house with. I know we recently, because I have lupus, we went all natural, everything, because there are things in the chemicals and you'll be like, oh, I want my house to smell like pine sol or bleach. But there are things in those things that are affecting you. They affect your mental clarity. They're affecting your illnesses. They're causing a lot of the things that are the reason why you're cleaning, because they're causing the problems that you're having. And you think, oh, I have this illness or I have this, flare up. And so I need to clean the house because there's some germ in here, when actually it's the cleaner that's making you sick.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I'm so glad that you have awakened yourself and to let people know about the importance of, people say it's, people are just going through a phase. It's just like, the tree hugger movement or whatever. But this is actually, people are finally waking up and say, my deodorant, has aluminum and it's causing me having cancer, and that's number one of breast cancer. And a lot of the reason why that they don't want to talk about it because of pharmaceutical, that's where they make
mm-hmm.
their money.
That's right. And they'd rather, the pharmaceutical would rather treat the symptom, give you another pill, give you another ointment, give you another thing, than to treat the cause. Because if they treated the cause, then we wouldn't need them as much, and so they would not be making money. Mm-hmm. You have to think that their job is not to get you well. They're not making money if you're well. They make money off the backs of sick people. So they need to keep you coming back with another antibiotic, with another cream, with another steroid. These are all things mm-hmm. that they're making money on. I mean, the cost of getting sick is outrageous, but they are making money on that part. So they honestly don't want you to get well. They do not have your best interest at heart, because if you are a well person, they don't make money off well people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's something we need to consider when we keep putting these creams or these antibiotics. Antibiotics are, for me, I just don't understand. They want to prescribe an antibiotic for everything, and then eventually your body no longer reacts to them, so they're stronger and stronger, different and different. They move to a different strand or whatever, when the fact of the matter is some of the chemicals in your home, in your environment, in the food that you eat could be causing the problem. So maybe you start at the source instead of just taking a pill to get better.
Exactly. That's why, like eating, I know honey has a natural way of antibiotics, and it has a very long, strong life. I mean, honey can last for 100 years on the shelf if need to be. It doesn't go bad. Of course, it has to be organic honey. natural honey, because if you buy the one that's a little bare on it, that's not real honey, that's synthetic honey. But if you buy honey, you know, in its natural state form, it's going to last for a long time. There's so many things you can do with it. Now, if you're diabetic, you got to be careful with honey. But honey is a awesome, it cures a lot of things. So if people are interested about honey, you should really look about honey, and especially eating in a raw form is the best. But it's delicious too.
And I know that if you eat the local honey, if you have allergies like to certain things in your local, so if you buy local organic honey from the local farmers, there's something in there that will help with your allergies. Because I have a granddaughter who has allergies, and we see a holistic doctor, so that he told us that eating the honey will actually help with those springtime allergies that she gets, whether it's ragweed or things like that. Because if you eat honey that's local to your area, it has things that help with the allergies that you will get in your area, which to me was amazing, because I just put some on her biscuits and she's perfectly happy. So she doesn't have to take a pill or get a shot.
Yeah, it's wonderful that you talked about that, because years ago when I did live in Virginia, I used to buy local honey around the farmers market, and then when I did some research and the farmers told me about that, and they said, you know, it makes sense because the bees are attracted to the pollen that's around in your area. So you tend to, when you have a teaspoon of honey a day, they said you should take it when you go to bed sometimes too, because it helps you sleep at night, believe it or not. But eating a teaspoon a day will help with if you have any allergies. Because I know I'm allergic to pretty much all tree pollen. Juniper is one of them. But I don't suffer really too much here in New York because there's not really much trees except buildings all over. But when I lived in Virginia, they said there was about 100 species of different trees. And so I would have terrible sinus infections and stuff. But then once I start taking the honey, the local honey, I didn't have that much of a problem anymore. So, but yeah, it's really interesting you say about that.
I know when we were little, my grandmother used to give us, and Lord, we used to hate to take it, but she would always follow it up with a sweet, you know, so that you would take the thing. But she would mix vinegar and honey and cinnamon together, like in tea. And then if you were ill or anything, that's what she gave us, because it cleans out your system. Those were her thoughts. But now I see lots of, you know, research about the vinegar. She would use the organic apple cider vinegar. She would put that in there. She would put like a teaspoon of that, and then she would put she'd mix it up like a hot tea drink, and then she'd put a little bit of cinnamon in it and the honey to sweeten it, and then you would drink it. It wouldn't be very much. But now you see all of these great, you know, research on what the vinegar does for your body, how it helps to clean your system, purify your system. And so sometimes the remedies that our grandmothers had worked just as well as anything you can buy. You know, now people are paying good money for that vinegar because it's going to be the cure-all. But that's a remedy that came back from the 1800s. It's not new, even though you see it all over Facebook and you see it everywhere. It's not a new remedy. It's just an old school remedy that people are now revisiting because they're starting to get smart about their health, starting to get smart about what they're putting in their body.
Exactly, like the Bragg's apple cider vinegar, the mother one. I know that stuff is really good because I used to take that and put a little bit of honey and then cinnamon, and actually I had a doctor told me that helps lower your diabetes, your blood sugar, pretty much right away. You just got to be careful with the honey, how much you put in there, but the cinnamon will counteract with it. But you make sure everything what you do is you make sure you talk to your doctor,
right?
Because it could be if you take certain medications, it could interact with each other. So make sure you talk. But I do believe in holistic doctors. I've been going to holistic doctors now rather than regular doctors, and I remember one time that I went to go pick up medicine for my mother, And the pharmacist saved my mom's life because the doctor was overprescribing my mother on medication and almost killed her. So that's why you got to be very, very careful with these medicines.
Well, I have lupus, and so they prescribe you a medicine, and then that medicine has a side effect, and then he wants to prescribe another pill and another pill. At one time, I was on 15 different pills a day for all the counteracting,
Wow.
for all the things, and so, and I am diabetic, and the lupus attacks different parts of your body as it flares. And so every time you have a flare, they just add a pill. They never take away, though. I'll be like, oh, that part's not working. I don't have that problem. But they want to keep you on it. And so when I went to the holistic doctor, the first thing he did was talk about how all those medicines interact, how they are causing problems. They're, affecting your liver. They're in your system, and they're counteracting with one another. And when a doctor adds, sometimes he doesn't look about what you already have. So he's just adding. And some of the prescriptions that I were taking had the same effects. They were duplicates. I really didn't need both of them because they did the same thing. Mm-hmm. And so, that was for me, my goal was to get off the 15. Now I'm not off the diabetic medication, and I may never. I'm diabetic. There's no way. My body doesn't produce the insulin. But one of the things that I was able to do was to take that lupus medicine way down. I have 3 now. 3 was 15, now 3. And for me, I can live with the 3 for the moment until, even though eating and the weight loss and all is helping with it, the numbers are better with the diabetic. And I do use the vinegar and the cinnamon because cinnamon is very good for your diabetes. Even my doctor prescribed he wanted an over the counter, but I do an organic cinnamon and do the powder myself instead of, because I don't like to buy the vitamins or things over the counter. I want to know what it is. So I buy an organic cinnamon and just make it like tea, like my grandmother did. Drink it in the evenings when I go to bed. It helps you to sleep better. It lowers your blood sugar, and it helps to sustain it for the night so that you don't have those spikes one way or the other. But some of these organic things that we are using could really replace, you look at the price of that organic cinnamon versus the price of those 12 prescriptions I was on, and I would rather pay for the cinnamon. Because it was it's outlandish. And even your health insurance, they change at the whim. So this month your medicine may be covered, next month it may not. And that, for me, some people, it becomes a question of whether you pay for your medicine or you pay for your groceries or your lights. And so the more that we can do to take our health into our own hands, the better off we are. Always consult your doctor, but be willing to ask questions. Don't assume just because he has initials after his name that your ideas and your thoughts are not valid. And if your doctor doesn't listen to you, you need a new doctor, because you need a doctor who's going to work with you, listen to you, and really work with the ideas that you have. If you're looking for a more holistic, lifestyle, a more organic, maybe start from the roots, weed out white flour and things like that out of your diet, then you need a doctor who's willing to work with you. And if he's not, remember, he works for you because you're paying him. Don't think he's doing it because he loves you. You are a paycheck. So you need to make sure you have a doctor that listens to you, that really has your goals and your thoughts, and that you mesh well together. Don't be afraid to ask questions or ask him why that medicine, why another one, because they just treat the symptom. They don't always go to the root cause. And sometimes you're just a number in their chart. So they just move on, write a script, hand it to you, and you're out the door. So you need to be in charge of your health and make sure that you're asking the questions and being proactive on your health. Let's not wait until you have the illness. Let's start now with healthy choices and a healthy lifestyle so that we offset, maybe even eliminate it altogether, the problems that you'll have down the road.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why, like for me, I have a toughest time to lose weight. And so now, the doctors want to tell you to do weight loss. It is for some people, the weight loss surgery. It is for some people. Like for me, I have a hormone imbalance. So, because I have PCOS. And so for me to lose weight, I could lose probably 50 pounds, but then I'll plateau and not lose anything more. It doesn't matter. Even if I starve myself or whatever, I still won't lose the weight. it's just because of my hormone level. So it's all about the food that we eat. And I'm just happy that my parents never really let us eat too much, box food and stuff. Everything was homemade. The only thing is that really affected me, I really feel, was the milk that I drank. And the only time I really drank soda was if I was, at my parents' restaurant when they had the restaurant. But a lot of it was milk. I mean, we love drinking milk. So I think that was more the main cause. But yeah, I'm so glad that you are, just the way you feel, passionate about eating right and putting the good stuff that you need in your body.
It's so true. And, we think that with milk, we're giving our children, milk does the body good. Milk makes them healthy. Milk makes them that. When in reality, it's not really as healthy as you think it is. And it's not really necessary as you think it is, because your body will get those chemicals from, those vitamins and things from other places. It doesn't really need that milk. I know when I was growing up, we had milk with every meal. My grandparents were sure it was the best thing for you. Now, before I was 3, we had milk from where my grandparents lived. So I'm not sure how that milk was, but, kind of like my grandpa milked the cow, and then we had milk for dinner. It was a different process there. It didn't come in a gallon jug, came in a glass jug that my grandpa got it straight from the barn. But as far as coming from, when it's homogenized, all those things that are going on, and then you think you're changing it. You give your children soy or almond or all of these things. Really give them water. Mm-hmm. So, that's one of the things. Well, we're coming to the end of our meeting. So you want to go ahead and tell us how we can reach out to you, how they can get a hold of you, how you can help them?
Yes, actually, if you go to internationalangelsnetwork.com, you can find information about us, about our Facebook group if you have a Facebook account, information about our network and our hosts. And we have a Friday show as well with Lillian Carrier and Norma De La Mora. And their show is at 1 p.m. Eastern. And you can learn more information about us at internationalangelsnetwork.com. And that's how we can get a hold of me. So
thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it. Remember, we'll be up on iTunes this week, so be sure and like the show, subscribe, leave us a message there. If you want to get in contact with Claudia, we can definitely put you in touch with her. Thank y'all again for listening to Modern Day Woman. This is Teresa Hawley-Howard, your host, and we are so honored to bring you powerful women who are inspiring, encouraging, and changing the world. One story at a time. Reach out to us on the website, WOMenterprises.com. And y'all have a great week. And Claudia, thank you again for being on the show.